Hello, everybody. I will show you a grant possibility if you're a young pediatrician with expectations to go into endocrinology or a basic science. It is the research fellowship, and it has to be distinguished from the clinical fellowship. It's supported generously and has been so for many years by Novo Nordisk. And I represent the committee because Michel Polak had to be excused, and you can see our names there. You are always welcome to contact us if you're in any doubt about the application procedure. And we are supported by Tracy, who is doing a lot of work to make the committee do its job. What we do is we meet after we receive all the applications. Next deadline is in March. And then we meet and discuss it in person. And what we look at, and what is important for you to know, is the scientific potential of the project you are suggesting. It's your scientific potential, but also the scientific credits of the person from the Espe that suggests you and where you want to go. If you apply for a long-term fellowship of 2 years, you are obliged to leave your country and go to another place for at least 6 months. If you apply for a short-term research fellowship, 2 to 6 months, you're not required to do that. These are the 2 winners in 2015, where Dr. Chiabaroli from the group of Professor Chiarelli will go to New Zealand, and Dr. Juraj Stanik from the group in Slovakia will go to Leipzig. And you can see the titles here. So we granted 2 of 8 applications, so you have a good chance, if you come with a good project, to be supported. These are last year's recipients, and they are mentioned here because the next speaker will tell you why he chose to move to a different institution, and they are ongoing because we give grants up to 2 years' time. The grant will be put forward end of October. And the deadline is 1st of March. So if you need to arrange a visit abroad, there is probably time enough to arrange that. I also want to tell you that the committee will lose its committee chair because Michel steps down. So you can apply for becoming either a committee member or a committee chair. And you have to do that before the 31st of October. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So why I was attracted? During my practical training as a pediatrician, I and me and my PhD supervisor Zdeněk Šumnik realized that many of our patients are at risk of osteoporosis, and we started to focus more on these patients. So what we can do about them, we can measure them bone mineral density with DEXA, which is quite a good method, but it doesn't really tell you whether the patient will fracture or not, and it doesn't allow you to make the diagnosis, so you cannot treat them. So we realized that it's good to search for fractures. That's done by spine X-ray. Actually, it's thoracic and lumbar spine X-ray, preferentially the lateral scan. It's quite useful, and for those who are not familiar with this method, I try to make it easier for you to realize that there is a fracture in this patient. But importantly, many of our patients are at risk of osteoporosis, but they don't have fractures, and still the question remains, how can we help them, or how can we assess their fracture risk? So what we can do more, we can assess the structure of the bone by peripheral quantitative CT, which you can see on these 2 pictures. To the left, it's the normal scan, and to the right, it's the patient with quite marked trabecular bone loss. We can also assess muscular functions of these patients to then decide whether this bone deficit is primary or secondary to sarcopenia. But still, I was asking myself, what's the mechanism and how can I improve the care? So what I was thinking was that what do my patients have in common? And it's the growth. They're kids, they're growing, and it must be something with the growth plate, since bone development is substantially influenced by the growth plate. And many of these patients get glucocorticoids at various stages of their diseases. So when I put these two keywords in mesh-restricted manner in PubMed, 6 papers came out, and 2 of them were from Sweden, and one was from each USA, Canada, China, and Japan. Since from personal reasons I was not ready to travel outside from Europe, then the choice was quite clear. So I wrote an email to Professor Sevendal, and he agreed on this project. He drafted the project, we applied for a grant, we got a grant, and I believe that that was an optimal choice for me, because I arrived in an established team of international researchers. I learned how to experiment on the animals, how to isolate mesenchymal stem cells and differentiate them in the osteoblasts, how to prepare and culture metatarsal bones, how to mark growth plate chondrocytes by immunofluorescent techniques, how to extract RNA and quantify the genes. So by doing this, I believe that I will be able to finish the project, which is quite competitive, and if I finish, I hope I will add something more to the scientific and even clinical society. So thank you, Espe. It's all the Espe delegates and members that are making the society so strong and important that even the pharma company are attracted, so the grants are available. Thank you, all of you.